Hey guys, James here today, and welcome to my breakdown of The Sims 4 build mode trailer. Now, I actually did record one of these the other day. It was about half an hour, and I did not like the result at all. So I'm going to do another one. And recently, the Sims website just updated today, and you may have already seen the breakdown of the videos I did on that. From that, we know that this world is called Willow Creek, which is an awesome name. There are giant steamboats. There are smaller regular boats. There's stilted foundations. There's a lot of stuff that we saw in there. If you haven't seen that breakdown, go check that out now. But here we are looking at this one. And as you can see, we have curved fences, curved foundations in this shot here. Loads of Sims. And that's something else we noticed in the other set of videos is there are loads of Sims. Now, I don't know if they've just put those Sims in there to make it sort of look more full, or if there actually are just naturally this many Sims wandering around the world, which would be incredible. And there's not too much else to note here, that we won't see a closer look up later on. This is just sort of a brief introduction, and we'll go over things closely a little bit later. Here is something that I was really happy to see, is that you can see that they've used foundation just without walls on top of it, because back at Gamescom last year, when they showed us foundation and that you can move the foundation up and down wherever you wanted, there was no ability to place foundation without walls on top of it. You had to have walls. You couldn't just place foundation by itself. So seeing that in this trailer is awesome, and I'm happy that that's actually there, because otherwise that would be kind of weird if it wasn't. Just a nice looking house here. Got a whole bunch of the new sort of architectural features, all the freezers. You got the columns in the fences, which we'll go into a bit more detail later on about. Moving forward, just another little shot of a house on foundation, looking very nice there in Willow Creek. So here we get to see them moving the walls for the first time. We get to see a few of the objects as well. I guess there's nothing too out of this world in the shot. I mean, I guess we could look at the UI actually. We could go back here. The UI, we'll look at the bottom left first. There are 4 buttons going vertically. The top one is for building, say walls, floors, fences, windows, doors, etc. The second one is sorting by mode objects by room, so just like in The Sims 3. And then the third icon is for just by function of by mode objects. And then the last button, I have no idea what that is, so apologies. Let's go to the top UI now. The first arrow, I can't remember what that does actually. I can't remember if I ever figured that out either. Probably, but I've forgotten. Second one is the eyedrop tool. Obviously, like before, then we've got a sledgehammer, and then the color picker. They don't actually show off the color picker in this trailer, which is unfortunate, but we'll be glad to see that soon and see how it goes. And then obviously undo, redo buttons, and then information about your house, the save button, and then the 4 little the cross of arrows there is actually to move rooms and buildings around. And then that sort of sun button is for time of day, which you can change. Over on the right now, I presume we have the live mode button. I have no idea what the 2 high-fiving characters are or what that means. The up and down arrows are to go up and down floors of the house. The one next to that, I'm not quite sure. And then there's camera settings next to that one. And presumably options and another little options button. I don't know. I mean, we'll find that out, obviously, one day. All right, so let's keep moving forward now. Because we've seen that, and there we get our first glimpse of them moving the entire room, and we can see that there's a grand piano in the game, which is good to see. And we just get a nice look at sort of an overview of a house on the lot there. It's quite a big lot as well, quite a large lot. Yeah, anyways, just moving some more rooms around. And the roof tools are really awesome. I guess there was no point in really stopping there, because they do show roofing a little bit more soon. Right there in the front, we have a nice fountain. Fountains obviously are now confirmed in the game. One thing that we haven't seen in this trailer or the Sims 4 cast trailer was the ability to place pools. There's no button for pools in build mode, and there were no swimwear categories in Creator Sim. Now, whether this is just them teasing us or if it actually means there aren't pools, we don't know yet. That's just something we're going to have to wait and see. But I'm not going to go into a whole debate about that right now, because we're talking about build mode. But yeah, so it's just a nice little house they sort of chucked together quite quickly. Here are Bella and Mortimer Goth from the Sims 4 Cass video that we saw before. And basically, they're going to be building their house here in Willow Creek. On the road there, you can see those tram tracks. We actually get to see that a little bit later, which is awesome. And a really nice house next door just there. Let's keep going forward and see what they do. Now, this menu down the bottom confuses the hell out of me because it's... Okay, so first of all, so I'll probably circle this in editing or something, I don't know, I'll zoom in. Right here we have 3 buttons vertically. The top one is kind of just like wall placement. The next one is pre-made rooms. And the third one, I'm not even sure. Is that I'll have to zoom in on this to be sure, but it kind of looks like a, I don't know what that is. I don't know. I'll have to look later. Anyways, so yeah, this menu is confusing because obviously the first button in this menu is a regular wall, like what you saw in The Sims 3, click and drag, you get a wall. The second button is obviously click and drag a rectangle, like we get in The Sims 3 and in The Sims 2 actually. Now the rest is where it gets a little bit confusing because half of these don't have finalized graphics yet, as you can tell, so they're all just kind of confusing imagery. But obviously they're going to be different shapes of walls. Some look like they're foundations, some look like they're roofing pieces. The ones with the blue sort of and the curve are going to be the sort of curved foundations. And then there's just a lot of sort of different pieces that I have no idea. They're obviously going to be to do with walls, floors, and foundations by the looks of it. And then there's a giant scroll bar on the right, so that presumably there's a lot more pieces. But anyways, they're going to put down that, and you can see they click and drag, which is incredible. I mean, you could do that in The Sims 3, but it was terrible. It just was not good. And you can see, actually, we'll see it again in a second there, when you sort of mouse over a room, this little context menu comes up. It highlights all the walls, and you can either click to move the entire room or rotate the entire room on those two buttons. I think that's just going to be incredible to be able to do that. It's going to be just amazing. Here are the stylized rooms. You can see on that little menu we are now on the second option, which are the fully furnished rooms they can pick up and place down. Now these I think are awesome. They talked about these at Gamescom, but they didn't really show it off that much. But the fact that you can place down an entire room and move the entire room again is amazing. So you can put it down, and then they're going to do the kitchen now, which is, I think, is really cool. And you can see them sort of drag it out, and all the objects inside react to that as well. As you'll see, if you haven't seen this video, they talk about this, but everything just moves along with it, which I think is incredible. It's so smooth and looks so easy to do, which I guess is the whole point of it. One thing that you may or may not have noticed here is when they scale up the walls, which if you didn't know, there's 3 different wall heights you can set. The wallpaper also scales with it. So like in The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, if your walls were taller than standard height, the wallpaper would just repeat itself and it wouldn't scale nicely like this one does. So I thought that was just a really nice thing to see. And something they didn't really mention was there are also different types of windows. So you have like the small windows, medium windows, and tall windows to fit all different heights of walls. And you can also move them up and down walls, which we'll see in a bit, which I think is going to be awesome because that was a problem in The Sims 3. The lack of windows that actually matched in height was so infuriating. But anyways, we can see a really nice sort of demonstration of the wall scaling here. So if you look at the wallpaper texture here, you got those sort of little bit there. Oh, I've pressed the wrong button. Fantastic. Where were we? I've gone too far. Oh God, I'm good at this. This is professional. So here we go. Yeah, back where we were. So yeah, when that goes up there, you can see it scale up very, very nicely. I thought that was so cool. So handy to see. And also the ceiling light is actually on the ceiling and not just floating in the middle of the room like it would do in The Sims 3. The column they've placed in the wall there, you may or may not have noticed. You don't need cheats to do that. You can just place columns straight into walls and straight into fences, which I think was just a really handy little thing that we could do. So there's their awesome dining room. I love all the details, like all the glasses on the table. Their foods look really good too. I think it's just seriously a beautiful game. The more I see of it, the more excited and antsy I get. Honestly, I cannot wait. I look at the roads as well. I just love the look of this world. And I have a theory that there is going to be, or I have a theory about another type of world. It sounds like there are going to be more worlds in the game from what they've been saying, but we don't really know yet. But I have a theory on what one of the other worlds could be if there are other worlds. And just before we saw them sort of moving up and down the walls, this is where we get to see we can move windows up and down walls. Finally, I love that. That's going to be so handy. Honestly, here we get to see them putting those columns in the fence. Now, one thing I did notice here, and I don't know if this is just a sort of architectural feature or if it actually is the floor tiles themselves. If you look at one of the columns where it's standing, the floor tile actually comes out half a tile from the fence. And we've never been able to do half tile floor tiles before. So I don't know if that's actually something we can do now, like half tile floor tiles like that, or if that's just sort of a feature of the fence and the columns. I don't know. But either way, it looks really nice and has just that sort of a bit more detail to it, which I thought was really cool. So they're adding in all the spandrels and the columns here. And the thing that you may or may not know is you can put any column with any fence and any spandrel with any columns and fences. So really, it's such a mix and match of what you want to do and what style you want to go for. And it's just going to be awesome. So let's chucking that in. There is a frieze they put on the roof. These are new to The Sims 4, or at least they were in The Sims 3, but they were much more manual. You had to place them yourself, and it was just messy. With this, you can just click on a wall and choose the sort of, well, not click on a wall, but click on a level and choose the frieze you want to chuck on there and give it a completely different look in seconds. I think it's awesome. Here they are just putting the fence on the upper level, and you can see it sort of automatically adjusts itself. And they have that sort of half little tile of flooring coming out, which again makes me think that it is just sort of tied into the fence, or it is a frieze of some sort. I don't know. That's something that remains to be seen. Some really cool roof things that you get to see going on here as well. The roof tool is going to be so different. Honestly, they haven't showed too much of it. They showed a bit more in the other gameplay that we've seen before, but it's going to be so... I'm just so excited for this. You don't even know. Here they are playing around with the foundation, showing that you can move it up and down even when the whole house is built. Placing some trees. We can get a preview of some of the trees in the game as well in the catalog down below if you want to take a little look at that. Now, this category here, this menu of plants and shrubs really intrigued me. Not only is there a llama topiary, which is amazing, but look at the sheer number of cacti. Like, seriously, if this world doesn't look like it would have cacti in it, right? But look how much they have. Like, there's tons of them. Tons of sort of cacti in there for some reason. Which led me to believe that there's probably going to be some form of desert-type world. Because why would they have those many cacti in the catalog if they're not going to use them in this lush world? I just think that sort of tips their hat towards saying, yeah, there's a desert-styled world or something like that. Kind of like Strange Town in The Sims 2. I don't know. Again, all speculation remains to be seen. We just do not know. So there is a nice shot of the house, and we get to see a little bit of the world in the background. Here they are playing with other houses. We can see a bunch of objects that they're placing in. Nothing too sort of out of the ordinary, just your standard sort of Sim-styled objects. But one thing that I do love about the shot is we get to see the sort of a bit of the town behind it, or a bit of the world. That shot's there really nice. I really love the large boulevard-styled roads. They look really nice. I look how close all the houses are together as well. It feels really suburban. I think it just looks fantastic. There's also little fire hydrants around the world, and there's some guy over there that looks like he has a backpack or something on. I don't know. Now, this shot here I really liked because... first of all, we get to see a car driving down the road. There's what looks like a newspaper stand or post boxes or something there next to the road. There's also telegraph poles that have power lines running along them. I mean, the detail in the world is just beautiful. There's so much detail. In the background, we obviously have the city. Again, we don't know if that's actually going to be something. I mean, it is a 2D image. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It is just a 2D background sort of around the world. But whether or not that means we can load up the area as a separate area and visit it, I don't know. Then over to the left, there's like a giant crane that looks like it would be at a dockyard or something. Again, whether we can load it up and go there or something, I don't know. But either way, it looks really cool. I don't know, I love that shot with the cars driving and the sort of telegraph poles. The kitchen, look at all the little details as well. I don't know. Moving a whole building as well. An entire building they're moving right now. Finally. That is so useful. I love that. And here they are, this is like a little wedding lot they've put together, and we see the return of the wedding arch. Here is a modern home. I'm not going too in depth to these because there's been like so many other people have made breakdowns as well. I'm just sort of talking about stuff that I'd love to see. In the background, we got that house on stilted foundations out over the water, which is awesome too. And they're sort of just building up that house, adding those little roof decorations, just showing the fact that we can build modern houses still, which is handy. There it is there. Up in the hills, we got a little shack in the forest, which I thought was kind of cool when I first saw that. But I don't know. There's not much else to say other than I'm incredibly impressed. There's a tram. That's the first time we saw the tram moving. And let me tell you, when I first saw that, I was like, oh my God, there's a tram moving. I don't know. It was just awesome. It was seriously awesome. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this breakdown. It was sort of brief and brief. It's quite long, but brief in the sense of that I could have said a lot more about a lot of other little details here and there, but this is kind of just something I wanted to do. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching this breakdown of The Sims 4 build mode trailer. I will see you next time, and have an awesome day.